You think about the star power of someone like Brad Pitt.
Just injecting it with the aura.
Yeah, step into the shadows.
We mapped the cosmic Cold War where the Jedi met the Syndicate and analyzed the master plan, the motive, and the wicked grit. From Gotham's gritty alleys to the throne room on Apocalypse, unleashing lore, heavy knowledge from the serpent's verbal exodus. Welcome to the Villainz Lair podcast. Welcome to the Villainz Lair podcast.
And welcome inside the Villainz Lair on a Monday, a Memorial Day Monday. Salute to all the troops who past and present have represented this country and fought for this country. We appreciate all you guys. Ryan and Alvin here with you on this Memorial Day. Alvin, how are you, sir?
Good, man. Good, man. I'm just hoping families from all over the nation and the world even enjoying this 3-day weekend and, and listening to us at the same time while you're on the beach or wherever you are having a good time. Let's go.
Yeah, appreciate you guys checking in with us and spending some time inside the Villainz Lair. We want to remind you that we are giving away a free copy of Insomniac's Wolverine, and you can enter to win that free copy. All you got to do is subscribe to our channel on YouTube, then head over to Instagram, follow the Villainz Lair on Instagram. We have several posts for the sweepstakes. You just have to share those posts, one of those posts, with 3 of your friends or family members, and you're entered to win.
Sharing is caring, man. Sharing is caring. And I can't wait for this game. And you should get it for free from us.
Yeah, the game comes out in September. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers. So as soon as we hit the 500 subscriber mark, we will announce a winner. So make sure you're one of those subscribers if you want a free copy of the Wolverine on PlayStation. And speaking of subscribers, if you're not a subscriber yet, please subscribe to this channel. We do the Villainz Lair podcast Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, trying to keep you up to date. This is the premier place for all of your superhero and geek culture, fandom news, everything there is to know. We will be all over it.
Yeah, that's right. Let's do this. What's in store for today?
All right. The big story over the weekend, this holiday weekend, is reportedly Marvel is looking at bringing Brad Pitt into the MCU. You think about the star power of someone like Brad Pitt, and it kind of reminds us of maybe when Christian Bale came into the MCU as Gore the God Butcher and Thor: Love and Thunder. Typically, Marvel gets, some A-list, obviously the Scarlett Johanssons and Samuel L. Jacksons of the world, but more so they're, high B-list actors that they kind of make. I think of Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans coming in and then really blossoming into A-list Hollywood stars. What do we think about Brad Pitt potentially joining the MCU?
As you were saying, we were also talking about this, like bringing in that type of A-list star power right into the MCU and just injecting it with the aura who is Brad Pitt. It brings in a whole different dynamic into it. And me thinking, who should he play? There's been rumors going around that it could be Magneto, right? I mean, he has the look. You grow his hair out and with a suave, silky, long gray hair, especially when you see in X-Men 97 with Magneto just being really charming with Rogue. Would we want to see that? Maybe. I mean, we've yet to see that kind of like that cut up Magneto that we've been like wanting to see, not just like what we saw on the original X-Men. He was a little older, obviously, and then we get the younger version from the next installment of the X-Men franchise. But with Brad Pitt, though, that could bring in a whole new different dynamic with Magneto. I can see him like if they brought in Cable, I can see him as Cable too, which would be kind of cool, right?
Yeah, it would. That's another really good one. So he was up for the role in Deadpool 2, and ultimately, for whatever reason, it went to Josh Brolin. but he did still make an appearance in that movie as the Vanisher. It was like this blink and you'll miss it style cameo
Right.
that we got from Brad Pitt, and obviously a much younger looking Brad Pitt right here.
Oh yeah.
But he has been in the Marvel universe, technically not the MCU, but still in a Marvel film.
I was thinking too of I know we were talking about star power. Mark Ruffalo coming into the MCU. Do you think they were on the same level of star power? But Mark Ruffalo was not obviously not the same level of action films as Brad Pitt was in.
Yeah, I think of maybe the Hulk before him. Ed Norton was a huge guy, and obviously he and Brad Pitt were in Fight Club together.
Right.
Um, Norton
Oh,
was a big star, and I think some of that, you know, ego and stuff. There was some clashes that led to him needing to be recast because they just didn't work well together, I guess.
that just goes to show you that amount of star power is hard to uh keep them put for multiple movies
Yeah,
also, right? And for him to be contracted to not just would it be cast for this one or Secret Wars or what? I mean, obviously not Doomsday at this point, right? Unless
right.
he makes a special appearance, but if he was, I mean, all I'm thinking is, Brad Pitt in his prime, Interview with a Vampire, you talking about Troy,
Hmm.
and whatever else he was in. I mean, you put in that he obviously whatever role he takes, he can handle. So
Right. And I don't, based on those movies, a lot of those movies you mentioned are sort of one-offs. He really only has one true franchise that he's ever been. If you're thinking about a character like Magneto that you would potentially want in multiple films, other than the Ocean's 11 series, he's only ever appeared in a sequel like that's set to come out based on his character in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So
right.
he's typically a guy that likes to, do a project and then kind of move on to the next thing and get out of that world. But I think you're like spot on, pushing towards like the mutant saga and the characters of that story arc. There's already some fan edits online of him as Mr. Sinister. I think everyone kind of leans villain here because you want younger heroes that could be in multiple pictures.
Also, yeah, definitely. I mean, uh, him as the big bad, the main villain would, especially with the star power, you can't have him a side character. You gotta really feature him on an MCU film.
Hmm.
Also, I was thinking there was once upon a time a rumor of Tom Cruise being Iron Man, right?
Yeah, and I'm still holding out hope that there is like a superior Iron Man variant somewhere in Doomsday or Secret Wars, and they get Tom Cruise to play that.
Right,
That'd be amazing.
Tom Cruise as Tony Stark. Holy wow, wait, that would be some crazy casting. Also, I'm gonna flip the switch real quick and get people real pissed. If I would have said I want to see Tom Cruise as Blade because I'm just thinking of Interview with a Vampire and mixed in with the Blade character, how would people feel about that?
I think we know how people would feel about that. They'd hate it. And all hate in the comments can be directed towards Alvin because I want no part of any fan casting Tom Cruise or Brad Pitt in that
Per-
one.
As usual, they will, and it's okay because I would like to see a vision of Brad Pitt as Blade.
Yeah. Good luck with that. Um, as we move into, older characters, Alfred Molina was interviewed, and talked about he initially signed a three-picture deal to appear as Dr. Octopus in the Spider-Man series. We've seen him twice now. His second appearance in No Way Home. One of the big rumors, huge spoiler here, if this is true, is that Avengers Doomsday opens on Tobey Maguire's Earth, with the X-Men coming to try and stop the incursion between their world and Tobey's and trying to destroy Tobey's Earth. Could Alfred Molina potentially, based on where we left him after No Way Home, be in that scene and helping that world's Peter Parker, save that version of their Earth. It seems like, either Doomsday or Secret Wars is going to like bring out everything they can. They're going to throw the kitchen sink at us. And I think that, Alfred Molina could be making an appearance in Doomsday.
I mean, Alfred Molina did not miss a step as Doc Ock in Spider-Man
So good.
No Way Home, right? And
Yeah.
not only that, he brings in the nostalgia factor in there. Who was a big fan of the Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. It was great seeing him. I wouldn't mind seeing him in this one. I mean, is it gonna put a huge dent on my entertainment purposes? No, but it's cool to see though, and it's cool to see just Doc Ock in there. Who doesn't love Doc Ock to begin with? I mean, he was in a great storyline in Spider-Man 2, and also like we were talking about, he had a predominant role in Spider-Man No Way Home. So I'd like to see him in this one again and see what brings in this multiverse of madness in this one around.
Yeah. Um, if indeed we are getting a scene like that, and reportedly, according to people that know about the beginning of this movie, say that this opening scene will absolutely melt your brain what you're going to see. So I'm thinking, it's not only Peter against the X-Men. You're probably get some of those villains, like you could get Sandman, who was in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think you get any help from Norman Osborn. He might be just too damn evil to do that, and I think they properly kind of finished his arc. But I think you're gonna get Alfred Molina's Doc Ock, Tobey Maguire, Peter Parker, and a version of the Sandman kind of fighting back, trying to stop the X-Men from destroying their planet. I think it's gonna be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait for these action sequences. It's gonna be a buffet of nostalgia
Oh yeah,
and new heroes, right? You bring in the Sonys, you bring in the Fox, you bring in all the MCUs, you put that all together and stir it all up, and people are gonna be really excited for that opening scene.
how cool would it be if Ghost Rider was a Sony film? What if they just, like you said, like it's almost like Fox versus the Sony universe, and Ghost Rider
Yeah.
rides in and is part of that? I mean, I guess they could even, in some way, if they wanted to kind of cross them up, but just to add more characters to that, the original Fantastic Four, you get like Jessica Alba, and I'm thinking in Secret Wars we're gonna get everybody, literally everything.
Yeah, this timeline is really the timeline's really getting confusing, man. And that's one thing for me for like having a parallel universe like that. Like, there's no rules anymore. Everything the a straight line of a timeline is going up and down and all over the place,
Right.
and it's just like very confusing
Loki's
now.
holding it all
But
together.
yeah, but like to us, every the vision that we've seen and every movies we've watched, when you see them all together, it still makes sense in a way. So seeing all that all together, especially in an opening scene, people are going to be obviously questioning it. Oh, why is he there? Why is he there? Why is she there? But at the same time, you're really going to be entertained because we are seeing them there. And the fact that if you're going to put Alfred Molina's Doc Ock in there, you're going to have to put everyone else in there too.
Yeah, yeah. We are just under, according to the Doomsday clock, we are just under 7 months away from the release of that movie, and we'll get all these answers. The hype, in a couple of weeks, San Diego Comic-Con. I'm sure we're
Yeah.
going to get a ton of news and hopefully the trailer at that point. They got to start ramping up the visuals, other than those four clips we got during Avatar over the holidays.
Yeah, I'm all aboard the hype train and let's do this.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that is going to do it for the show today. But before we go, any final thoughts on anything from over the weekend?
Nah, well, we did see Mandalorian Grogu, so stay tuned for that review.
Yeah, come check out the channel. We'll have the full spoiler review up in a little bit. Again, thank you so much for joining the show on this Memorial Day. We're so
We
happy to have had you with us.
We
And we
have
have
a guest.
special guests.
Hi. Say hi. Okay.
All right. Thanks everyone for watching. We will see you on the next one.